Okay, Annette, thank you for joining me today to share with everybody our experience working together. So if you would take a moment to just describe before we started working together, where were you at? What was life like for you before we started working together?
Um, Before I started working with you, I was kind of like at the end of my rope. I was completely overwhelmed with life in general. Um, like cleaning my house or taking a shower or even trying to figure out how to grow my business or do any of those things was too much. It was just too much. I was basically stuck and in a cycle, and I couldn't figure out how to get off that hamster wheel. I just kept going round and round and round.
And I know we connected originally because of the common experience of having been in a relationship with a narcissist. But what you just shared is not just that, it impacts every other area of your life where you just feel stuck, unmotivated, exhausted, like just you
Yeah.
can't do anything.
I literally felt like someone had hooked a vacuum cleaner up to me and sucked all the good stuff out of me. And I was just basically this empty vessel. And I had read all of the self-help books. I had done all of the things that I could find to do by myself. And it would work for a couple of days. And then I would find myself back in that big empty vacuum and feeling like I needed something to make me feel better, which we all know is how you end up back in another bad situation, right? So I knew that that's not where I wanted my life to go. So I started investigating like different options for helping me get my mind right and fixing whatever that was causing that giant vacuum feeling. And I ran across Sarah online and started following you. And I just really like connected with some of the things that you were saying. But like you said, we connected because we had a similar, you know, experience dealing with some narcissism and things like that. But what I really wanted to do was fix me so that I personally didn't ever have to go through that again. I wanted to figure out why I was attracted to like the life sucking people on this planet, male or female. And I really just wanted to learn how to set my own boundaries. And like I said, I had done a ton of research. And when you had said something one day on a Zoom or something that you were doing, a Facebook Live maybe, and you said something about rapid transformational therapy. And I remember thinking, rapid, that sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah. And that's initially what attracted me to it and launched, I mean, exponentially launched my journey into healing as well. So what is it with all that initially, what made you decide to work with me? I know you scheduled our initial call, we had that, and what was it that had you say, yeah, let's do this, I want to work together?
Yeah, so I'm a researcher. So before I even got on the call with you, I did a whole bunch of research about rapid transformational therapy and hypnotherapy in general, because I wanted to understand what I might be getting into. And I kind of already knew, I mean, you know, like the universe sends people to you when you're ready to meet them, right? So I had already been thinking about hypnotherapy, even though I didn't really understand how it worked. It just was washing around in there. And for whatever reason, I ran across you, universe probably put you there, God, whatever. And then when we got on our first call, I didn't know what to expect. And I had all of these doubts running through my head, like it's going to be too expensive. I'm not going to be able to do this. What if this doesn't work? What if this doesn't work is probably the biggest thing, because I already felt like I was at the end of my rope.
Yeah,
And I was
because you had tried everything. So if you'll take a moment to speak to that, and then afterwards, like tell us about your experience with hypnosis, because those are the two common things that I get. So tell us about that. What if this doesn't work?
Yeah. So, I mean, I kept thinking that, what if this doesn't work? But then when I got on the call with you, you were so calm and understanding and inviting. And I just felt really confident that you and I had connected in a way that was going to be beneficial to me. And I mean, your voice is very soothing. You're very patient. You tolerate, you know, like me trying to weave my way through things because I was super confused and a little bit desperate. And if you remember, I told you I'm so non-committal that I can't even like make dinner because I can't commit to what I'm going to eat for dinner. And you were like, oh, If you
Because
can't
it's a
commit to
commitment.
that, and I told you, I have no choice. Something has to change. And I chose you to help me figure that out.
And tell us about, because some people are a little bit leery or wondering about hypnosis. So tell us about your experience. What was that like?
Well,
How did that?
I've never been hypnotized before. I had seen people like cluck like a chicken in Vegas or whatever because they were hypnotized.
Right.
But so I thought it was kind of a joke, but I was also very curious to find out what it would be like. And I was a little nervous because I didn't know for sure, like if I got into a hypnotic state, somebody could tell me to do something I didn't want to do. But I realize now that that's not really how it works. You're fully in control of yourself. You can stop at any time you want to stop. But if you just go with the flow and accept what's going on and allow your body to relax enough, then all of the good things start to bubble up. And something people ask me, because I talk about this all the time, they're afraid because they're afraid those bad memories are going to pop up. And what I always say to them, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that because you're in a state of hypnosis and you're in a safe place, even if those bad memories pop up, the person who's guiding you can help you like calm down and step away from the trauma of that situation so that you're not reliving the experience, but you still get to see it like maybe from like an outside point of view. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's exactly how I describe it to people. And that's absolutely right. You are not reliving anything. You're reviewing it. And I think I shared that. I tell almost everybody, if in the past a traumatic experience you fell down and you cracked your head open and needed stitches and were bleeding, you can't come out of a state of hypnosis with a cracked open head and bleeding. You can simply say that made me feel, I felt like I was in pain, I felt embarrassed. So we're tuning into the feelings, not reliving, just reviewing it. It's like we're seeing it on this computer screen.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are afraid of that because things that have happened in their past that were very traumatic, they don't want to go back there. But you kind of have to revisit some of those things to understand them and then be able to let loose of them.
Yeah.
So,
And people ask, how do I let go? And it's just reviewing it to see how you felt, because that feeling is connected to the feeling that you have today, and breaking that trauma bond, breaking that pattern, that cycle that you get stuck in. So yeah,
right.
thank you for explaining that. I think maybe that'll help some people
I
understand
hope
that
so
feeling.
because it was a little bit scary, especially since we were long distance, right? We were doing it via Zoom. I didn't really know what to expect, but I mean, I'm so excited that we did. And I don't know if you remember me telling you this, you probably do because you're really good at this, but like 3 weeks in, I remember thinking to myself, this isn't working. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? If this doesn't work, I don't know what I'm going to do next. And I went to bed that night really like sad because I felt like I was like, I'd hit a wall. And for whatever reason, I woke up the next morning and I was like, I feel different. And then I was like, no, you don't. And then like 20 minutes later, I was like, I feel different today. And then that little voice in the back of my head was like, no, you don't. And then like an hour later, I was like, I really do feel different today.
And that's absolutely true, because the mind likes what's familiar, and what was familiar prior to this, and it learns by repetition. So I create a recording in the session for you to listen to so that you can reprogram and rewire your mind, because it learns by repetition. But because it likes what's familiar, it's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And then continuing to listen to that recording and doing the exercises. So let's get into the 6 weeks. Healing is not linear, like you just said. I wish it was, but it's
Right?
not. So you are going to have those days, right, where you feel this isn't working. But as you stay, and you did commit to it, and I'm so proud of you for doing that. When you stay and you do fully commit to this, what was your experience like over the 6 weeks? So we start with our rapid transformational therapy session, and then during each week, I send you exercises. We have coaching calls. Walk us through a little bit of your journey through what that 6-week experience was like.
Yeah. So first of all, I like that it's kind of a learn as you go process because some days you're just exhausted after a long day and you don't have the mental capacity to sit down and do homework. And this is like homework, but it's actually it can be a little taxing. Like you have to think about things and you have to be able to relax enough to let some of your thoughts come through. So on days when I'm just super tired or exhausted, I don't know what that was, something just fell on my face. I just don't do it that day, but I listen to my recording every single day because I've learned that it helps me relax enough to go to sleep. So I've only missed my recording one time, and it was because I was traveling and I didn't have earbuds with me and I didn't want to subject another person to my stuff. But I really never miss it. And some days I listen to it in the middle of the day if I'm just having kind of a weird day. And some nights when I have trouble sleeping, I listen to it 2 or 3 times in a row because I'm like, okay, brain, come on, come on. But it's just been an amazing experience. And I look forward to listening to that little, what is it, like 20-minute, 15-minute?
Like 15 to 18 minutes. It sounds and feels like a meditation, and you put yourself into a state of hypnosis. It's super easy. You just kind of look up and then close your eyes, and people think it's weird and hard, but it's literally just like that.
And I look forward to it. It's not hard at all. And it's amazing to me that you can just listen to something every single day for like 3 weeks, because that 3-week mark was where I kind of hit the wall and I was like, I don't know about this. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, this is working. And that just like sealed it in for me. And then I was like, okay. So then I'm looking forward to my calls with you so that we can talk about the new exciting thing that's happening. And I mean,
yeah, and tell us about that. How's life different for you now? I know that you sent me a message and said, look, other people are noticing, and so much in your life has changed.
Yeah. So I've had people come up to me and go, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, keep doing it because you look amazing. Or people will say, you're glowing. What did you do different? Or, like, I'm seeing you on Facebook more, because I used to do live videos every single day. And then I just stopped because I just didn't have anything to say. It was like my voice had been taken away from me. And now as you can tell, I'm excited. I can't shut up. I got something to talk about all the time. But people are noticing that I'm back to who I used to be. I'm that fun, interesting person that likes to hang out with other people and talk to people. And I'm not all closed off and keeping to myself and, kind of wallowing in whatever it was that I was wallowing in. And it feels so good to be like open again. I feel like somebody lifted the dirty windshield off of my car.
Yeah, like a lot of clients will share this dark cloud, or I just feel like I'm in a shell, and it's kind of, excuse me, just like breaking free from that, or like that dark cloud has just drifted away, floated away.
And I have to admit, I haven't gotten through all of the homework exercises yet. I'm working on them. But because of what we're doing, and because my attitude is better and I'm looking forward to the future and things like that, my businesses that I own have been busier, which is a great thing, but it's kept me a little bit busy. So I've fallen a little behind on keeping up with my homework. And I'm glad that we get to do that as we fit it in. I have caught myself a couple of times feeling a little bit guilty because I've fallen behind. So I had to talk myself out of that guilt feeling. But because of the training that I've gotten from going through this program with you, I understand that I can get rid of that guilt feeling because it doesn't belong there. I shouldn't feel guilty for being successful or feel guilty for having work to do, because right now in the world, a lot of people wish they had work. So feeling guilty about not being able to get to those homework assignments because I'm busy building a business is kind of silly.
Yeah,
So.
and that's a phenomenal thing. And I'm going to brag for a moment, because you are a doctor, and most people go to the doctor when they have these thoughts, these feelings, these problems, this anxiety, this panic, this sadness, this depression. And most doctors will just write a prescription and hand it to them and say, let me know how that works.
Yeah.
And then that even further perpetuates the problem, because that's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on it, and you're more of a naturopath doctor.
Right.
Excuse me, but
yeah. Even in the natural world, a lot of times you'll find natural doctors that want to give you a supplement or a pill to take, like there's different herbs that you can take if you're depressed or sad or anxious or whatever. And those are great, especially if you're in a position where you need something right now to feel better. But if you don't deal with the issues that are getting you there, and it took me a long time to realize that I wasn't a victim. I'm actually someone who's perpetuating these relationships. And it's not just men, it's just life in general. I was attracting people to me that were basically sucking the life out of me because I was trying to please them and I was trying to help them and I was trying to fix them. And when I realized that, there are people like me out there that are good people that want to help other people that don't deal with those kinds of things on a daily basis. How do I be more like those people? Like, how do I find relationships with friends and relatives that are give and take and supportive? And that's what I want in my life. I want to be around people that are supportive. I want to be around people that appreciate boundaries that you put in place. And when I say, no, I really don't want to do that, they don't keep pushing and saying, oh, but you want to help me, right? No, at this point I don't. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that, because oftentimes people, when they're in that really dark, low space, they wonder, is that even possible? Is that available? Does that even exist? And
Right.
You're here to
The last
share.
thing you want to say to somebody is no, when you're already feeling like you have nobody and nothing because you're empty inside. Telling somebody no is almost impossible, because you figure if you tell them no, then what's left?
Yeah.
But it's actually very empowering to tell the right people no, so that you can make room in your life for the good things in life.
Amazing. So if anyone is where you were, where I was, and they've tried everything, read the books, listened to the podcast, done all the courses, and are still, what I hear most often, they're still stuck. What advice would you give them if they're in that place?
I would definitely talk to Sarah. I've given your name to, I don't even know how many people already. I've found that this was, it sounds silly, one of the easiest things I've done. And it's been pretty pain-free. I mean, it's not really been difficult or complicated. And the most complex thing I've had to do was listen to a recording every single day, which actually makes me feel good about myself. So, I mean, that's the hardest thing I had to do. And yeah, I still have a little bit of homework to do, but I'm looking forward to doing that. It's actually something that I want to take the time to do and do it correctly. And I'm excited for our chats. I'm always looking forward to it. But yeah, I think Sarah's a great person to have in your corner if you're challenged, or, I mean, if you're just not even sure what to do next. Take advantage of a call with Sarah and let her help you walk through some of those feelings, and maybe you can figure out what the right step is for you.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about. I don't know. I just guide. I say I'm like the Uber driver to your mind, to helping you get to that happy place that is like right there. Don't know how to get there on your own though. So yeah. Thank you so much, Annette, for sharing your experience. And I hope that this, resonates, connects with others, and gets them to a place that they want to be, and know that it's possible.
Absolutely. I really was a skeptic. So I'm really glad that I took the chance to do this, because I think it's been the missing link.
Yeah, I hear that described a lot too. There's this all these puzzle pieces, and I don't have the box. I don't know what the picture looks like, and I'm like missing pieces, and I don't even know where to look or like where to start. And so just getting the right pieces, putting them together so everything else connects too, and then you get this picture of what you wanted life to be like. Yeah. But thank you so much for your time today and for sharing and connecting with me and with others.
Thanks. I'm happy to share. Super excited to tell people about my journey.
Thank you, Annette.